Nighthawks and the Rainmakers, but the teams certainly know each other. A lot of the city ultimates have history.
That's right, Jake. Seattle and Vancouver have a long, storied history of playing together, ultimate and big games. Seattle has never lost a home game against a visiting team in club in single game format. They won over Japan on this very field here at Chief Sealth in 2005. And they beat Germany in 2008 as Germany was visiting before the World's Tournament in Vancouver, and a big win over Australia in the summer of 2012. So they have a history of holding it down at home, but Vancouver has a tradition of winning over Seattle when it matters. They eliminated Seattle from national contention in 2011. Back in those World Championships when they were the home team up in Vancouver, they knocked Seattle out of the finals for a win of Worlds, and they won nationals over Seattle in 2005. So there's been a lot of trading, but Vancouver has won when it matters, and these guys definitely know that it matters out here as we open up the league for Major League Ultimate today. Games in several cities, and the game here in Seattle just about to get underway.
That's right. These teams are going to play 4 times this season, so this isn't the only time they're going to play each other, which means the score matters. Of course you want to win, but you also want to set the tone for the next times you meet later in the season. Now, Vancouver is a team that's known for having some incredible offensive sets in this game, and one of the keys to Seattle's game is going to be containing those opening threats from Vancouver. So after the pull, they're going to have to come down and try to break up these beginning plays, but Seattle's probably up to the challenge. They're known for their defensive variety. They come down a lot with transition Ds, so a D that might look like it's in the zone defense set or in the man defense set, but then within a stall of 3 or 4, they're switched up into a different kind of defense that can really stifle those opening throws by some of these bigger players in Vancouver.
That's right, and they are adapting those defenses that they are known for here in Seattle for an even smaller stall count than they're used to. The stall count out here today is 7 seconds, counted by the referees. So look for some real quick transitions on D and a lot of quick movement from both teams as Vancouver looks to stretch it. Seattle is not without some height. Definitely look for Matt Rader in the skies, Frank, Devin Barrich, and others to be running with those tall guys from Vancouver. And we'll see how much the wind plays a factor. It's died down just now, but it's definitely been somewhat gusty here today. The teams are just coming out of their huddle, getting ready to take the field. And the full crowd here in Seattle definitely pumped to see the MLU get underway.
You know, you mentioned a couple of the big guns in the air for Seattle. I would imagine that if this game comes down to man versus man, mano-a-mano, that's going to be a win for Vancouver. They're known as a team that really attacks the length of the field. There are a lot of bombs, a lot of undercuts, and they're an extremely athletic, extremely big team. You see folks like Hibbert and Hayduk out there who are going to win a lot of those air battles. I think Seattle would rather have a team defense where you're going to see switches, poaches from out of the stack, and some stifling marks to make sure those throws don't go up in the first place.
I think that's right, Jake. Let's see what Seattle brings on D. I'm definitely curious as things get ready to start. Both teams are out on the field. Another thing to consider, though, with Vancouver being used to using the length of the field, it's a wider field than most Ultimate players are used to. Traditionally, in a lot of Ultimate games, it's 40 yards wide. This one's 53 1/3 yards wide. And 80 yards long with 20-yard end zones. So slightly different dimensions than these guys are used to playing in terms of competition for the fans. But I'm excited to see them stretch the length and also use the width of the field to swing the disc around, which Seattle is known for, some quick handler movement, and strike up the other side. So we'll see what's going on in terms of the vertical and the horizontal and what offenses these teams will bring. Both Seattle and Vancouver have histories of incorporating vertical stack offenses and horizontal offense sets. Vancouver known especially for their opening plays, so as you mentioned, the stifling transition Ds will be a big boon for Seattle. Of course, Vancouver getting set to pull to Seattle, so we'll see Seattle's offense starting things off here today.
This game's going to start in just a few seconds. I'm guessing that the flip was won by Vancouver, who chose sides. One thing that might be hard to tell is that pull. Wow, what a high throw. He can throw it that high partly because the wind is assisting him, and Holt's going to be picking it up. Goes out of bounds. He gets it at the front of the end zone. He's going to need to get it off that sideline right over there to Simon. and all the way over to O'Brien. Vancouver's showing a zone defense right now. They're switching up into man as right now as I'm speaking. That's right. They did a transition. That's typically a Seattle kind of defense.
Well, both of these teams are so equipped with all the tools in the arsenal. There's
a big throw. Big upwind throw by Raider. There's going to be a crowd underneath. Rifkin trying to battle, getting space. Rifkin comes down with it. Great body. Using his body to get, looks like Pottinger out of the way. Little dishy to Holt. They got about 2 yards to work with. No turnovers. Nice cut by Simon. There's a goal.
And that's starting the scoring off here today. Nice movement up the sideline there from Seattle.
Boy, fun to hear the crowd going wild after that one. They definitely have a home team advantage, home field advantage. And right now we're going to see a defensive line come out and the offensive line for Vancouver. There we go. Coming out. Nice start.
That floater was a long bomb hung up in the air as you
win the foot race to the disc. Those floaties are awfully dangerous, especially an upwind throw like that. But there was a pretty good height mismatch. Rifkin standing about 6'2", and Rifkin made the body out of the way so that he could really catch it alone. He didn't even really have to jump.
That's right. He had steps coming out of the stack off the sideline there. Raider got big eyes and wanted to put it out in front of him, but like you say, it floated. And here we go, Koss with the pull. Straight line drive pull down to Vancouver, whose offense is underway.
Vancouver almost certainly a set play. They've got a split stack clearing. There's going to be an ISO.
Andy Collins takes off deep, but they look to swing it. Savage swings it across.
Lots of movement from the Vancouver offense. They are known as an extremely physical team.
There's a whistle on the field.
There we go. Travel on the throw.
Travel on the throw is a turnover, and it looks like there's some sort of contest. He might have been on the receiving end. As they catch it, they're allowed steps before they set up a pivot. Once that pivot's established, if they drift as the thrower, that's a travel that is a turnover.
You know, one other thing that's possible to see, though I don't think that was it, is if a call benefits your team, you can invoke a spirit rule that allows you to say you want a different result.
That's right. A lot of players out on the field are used to officiating their own games from other leagues.
There's a big throw. Deep. There's a crowd gathers. 4 people there. And Nighthawks come down with it.
That was
nice D. Huge layout D by Koss. Fantastic. Just on what he was expecting to be an easy dump, but Koss is cruising through. Lays out, gets that D. Crowd loves it. Harkness picks it up. Sending it over to Kinley. Kinley's looking at a very deep stack. Deep throw goes. Good shot. Nope. Too low.
Short. That's Collins with the D, and now Vancouver's coming the other way. Looks like Ortiz with a pump fake.
Those pump fakes work awfully well on a team that's known for its hucks.
That's right. You can't guess that it's not coming because it so often is as they send their cutters deep, and there's a call on the play.
Travel on the throw. It's going to be a turnover.
There you go. And we're off and running again. The refs taking charge early, making sure these guys know that the striped jerseys are keeping control of things out here.
That's right. Harkness walks up to the disc. They're trying to slow it down a little, which I think is a huge advantage for Seattle. Difficult shot all the way over. There's going to be a battle. Ooh.
Snuck in there for the D.
That might have been a phantom D. Just got close enough to make, I believe that's Raider, nervous. That looks like Barrich. Barrich nervous, trying to look at the defender while catching it makes it very difficult. Also possible that he just hit the disc.
Right, and that was Mark Leduc with a D. Whether he got the piece or not, it definitely makes a difference as you're trying to catch that disc. A defender flying by you is definitely distracting, if not creating conflict on the disc there and knocking it down. Ortiz.
Vancouver starts right away with a nice shot, and whoa, grabbing traffic. A dump. There's a call right now, 5-yard penalty, a foul on the mark. That was Kinley getting aggressive, trying to stop whatever the next movement was and let the defense. Big throw again. Lots of hucks. That's a difficult one. Nice bid, but a nicer catch. Jeez. Great bid by Harkness trying to get that D that you saw on the other side of the field.
And that was Collins to Galitz. Galitz, number 6 there, has pulled down 3 big ones. It was the long bomb that went into a crowd. He went up and grabbed that, only to get D'd by Koss there, as you mentioned. And then both of the the contested throws there, where Galet's pulling it down one out in the lane for a bunch of yards, and then that last one from Collins for the goal. And it's 1-1 here at Chief Sealth. 6:14 remaining. The clock is stopped and will start again when the receiving team makes contact on it. And they're getting set, the Nighthawks are, to pull. 1-1, and I expect this to be a pretty even game. Both outstanding teams with a lot of talent, and both ready to bring it here today, and kind of the initial stages of what could be an intense rivalry against between the Rainmakers and the Nighthawks.
Pull goes up. I have to say, when Seattle had the disc last time, we hope to see it again. They really just ran it in very smoothly. That other one on Vancouver's O-line against Seattle's D, woo, difficult hammer. Great scoop by Raider. You want to see the offense control the game a little more, just like it is right now. There we go. Simon with the disc in the middle of the field. Big throw goes up. Raider, it's going to float. Raider is going up too early, and Holt cleans it up. Huck to somebody like Raider, somebody who's so dominant in the air. But one of the things you're going to see in the MLU is a lot of these players know each other. A lot of these are very known players in the ultimate community, and you're dealing less with the individual player you're throwing to as the matchup. So there, throwing to Raider can be a little scary when you have somebody like Hibbert on him, who is such a known deep.
That's right. If you're holding the disc, getting wide-eyed, seeing your boy Raider on this for the Rainmakers cutting deep, you got to check in on the defense.
Probably a little before he would be comfortable with it, but he knows he has to go up early to try to get it over Hibbert.
That's right. It was well played, but then Adam Holt, of course, not giving up and finishing out the hustle play, as we see so often, especially when there's a big matchup. Those guys tend to be excited and go up early sometimes.
Huge pull. That lands in and scoots out the back. They're going to get to pull it up to the front of the end zone, but, of course, the defense is going to be able to set up entirely, which makes it a lot harder for Vancouver to run whatever set play they had, because the defense is already set up, ready to go, ready with their switches.
And it looks like straight man, although there's some poaches in the middle. Harkness in the lane, but finding his guy. It looks like man-to-man.
You know, some of Seattle's, they're in the middle of their own end zone. This is going to be difficult. Very deep horizontal stack.
And that's
Pottinger a bit stuck with the disc right now. Big shot. La Violette. Whoa! La Violette, what a bid! What a bid! Going over his shoulder, really hard to find that disc, find where the man is, and be able to get in the air and hit it.
That's right, and Leduc couldn't hang on, and, we got a call here. Looks like a foul on the throw.
It's going to be
big shot.
Toss. Another, wow!
La Violette, what a bid!
Throw into the end zone. Can he stay in? Ooh.
Close, but he knew he was approaching the back line there. Couldn't quite hang on and stay in. That flick up the line from Pottinger is something that we're going to see a lot. He's got a strong flick and likes to send it down the sideline. And the handlers for Vancouver definitely have a lot of rapport. Ortiz and Savage and Pottinger have played a lot together. That's true for a lot of Seattle players, as well as Ortiz brings it up to the line here to bring it in for the Nighthawks.
That's right. We're still seeing lots of man-D. There, woo, pulls it in, but you still see that difficult throwing upwind. Oh, little miscue.
Third time's a charm, and then tosses it away, going back to the middle of the field.
Oh, Harkness, can he bring it in? Tries the greatest. Going over. Goes up, and there's the catch. What a play.
And the home crowd goes wide.
What a play for the break. Harkness going out of bounds, pulls the greatest, jumps from inbounds, catches the disc, throws it back inbounds, and then waiting as a crowd gathers is Donnie Clark. Clark, one of the most athletic players on the field right now.
The greatest attempt out of bounds. It becomes on you to make that play and honor that work that they're hustling, getting that disc and saving it, bringing it back in. Harkness brings it back in, and Clark says, I'm going to bring that down and make this a goal. The crowd behind him, and the Rainmakers go up 3-1.
Just as important as bringing that momentum to the team by a huge play like that, that was also a break. That was Seattle's defensive line. They pulled that disc, finally got the turnovers required to put it in downwind. And normally you see those exciting plays often from a defensive offense playing against an offensive set that's playing defense.
That's right. Offensive sets tend to take it easy and move the disc. They really are valuing possession. That's why they're out there. Defense takes an increased energy level. You're at the disadvantage because the offense is deciding where to go. It takes a really athletic guy to play D, and once they get the disc back, they definitely get excited and want to punch it in because those breaks are so debilitating as well. Looks like a zone on the sideline, a sharp flick.
It's a trap zone on the sideline. Over to Pottinger, who gets to move it up, which is okay. They're trying to push him back. It's zone defense all the way.
A lot of scoobers.
There's no man right now, though they might have just transitioned. They did just transition. Whoa, good throw. Great work by Vancouver punishing that transition. As they're switching to man, Rader gets pulled in to guard. He was the deep, but he's being pulled in to switch to man. And Spidell has to chase his guy down. Just 2 seconds ago he had help deep, but now it's Spidell alone.
He brings it in for the goal, brings Vancouver up to 2 against Seattle's 3. And we're well underway here. I'm excited to see how this game shapes up. Now, again, we got 3:38 in the first quarter. It's 4 10-minute quarters, and as you can see, the clock stops in between pulls, and here they go there with another pull.
Disc is up. That's a great pull-up win. It's hard to see. Watch that disc float. That disc is floating partly because of the wind. Wow, what a float. And partly this new Pulsar Innova disc flies a little bit differently than the disc a lot of people have previously used, and it tends to float a bit more. Nice downwind dish. Over to Karlinski, looking deep. There was a streak deep, but chooses the safer throw.
A lot of openings under for Seattle, getting wide open underneath.
Seattle clearly fired up after I'm sure that successful greatest for a goal. What a throw. That was a scoober over to Rifkin. Ooh, nice save to keep that in by, I think that's Murray.
Yeah.
Murray a little bit stuck. Lots of energy on the field right now. 3 minutes left in the quarter. Karlinski, great bid. Karlinski looking unfazed. Seasoned veteran move. Somebody bids past you, just no worry.
Looks like some contact. There's the call. Sefton trying to sort of push off on the throw there and looks to the ref.
The refs are going to discuss what that call is. It's going to be gained 5 yards. It's going to call a Hayduk as, you see that rivalry flaring up again.
Now, Vancouver is known for being a very physical team, and you can expect to see that all game, all season.
Open shot, Rifkin just gets open, makes it look so easy. You can see, from the preseason game of the Rainmakers who played the Stags, there is also a Seattle-Portland rivalry. That's a little more of a friendly breeding ground, lots of cross-pollination, lots of Seattle players who have played in Portland, Portland players who have come up to Seattle. This rivalry is a little different.
That's right. Over the years, these teams have battled in huge games of Ultimate, and it looks like that's starting right back up here with the MLU. And you saw Hayduk on the mark there, not being shy at all physically. You saw Sefton kind of getting exasperated. He was able to pull himself together and throw a nice, easy shot to Rifkin there for that goal. But definitely you can't ignore the contact when it's coming up on you like that.
These players hugely respect each other, but there is something extra on the line when you're playing Vancouver-Seattle. That pull's floating out of bounds, threw it a little too high in that into that wind.
That's right.
So Vancouver's going to have a chance to set up, which, of course, the Nighthawks like. They are known as a team that has some of these great opening plays. They're finding another disc and marking where on the sideline they're going to be. They're going to have it with about 50 yards to go.
And it looks like they're doing a split stack, which is something that Vancouver has done for years. They've got 2 guys on one side, 4 guys on the other, and the disc in the middle with Ortiz. And here he goes. He checks it in, and they run
There's
the play.
Deep shot. Deep shot going up. Oh, wow. Barrich got position, and there's that bump again. The throw into traffic. Great help, D.
You got to know that throw was thinking about the contact coming back. Seattle says, you can't push me, I'll push you back. And they ran that play up the side with the 2 players. One cut deep, the other guy came across. They sent it deep. And big play.
Phenomenal help D by Spidell, who is poaching to go back and make that a much more difficult catch. It was really a very well-placed throw, just enough heads up by Seattle to get a poacher there.
That's right. And Aaron Loach, who came down with that, just couldn't complete it on the throwing end here.
That was a great catch by Loach, by the way. That's a lot of difficulty with Baric on you. 5-yard gain for Seattle on a foul. They lose it right away. You're seeing them use the width of that field as Seth Wiggins with the disc chooses the scoober over to...
Looks like Exton Titcomb back in the
right.
middle to Baric. A lot of squirrely cuts here. And
there's a big shot.
Kinley.
That's going to be trouble. Pottinger, Kinley. Harkness couldn't get it. Pottinger went up early. Harkness also went up early.
And then Mark Leduc cleans up the D, makes sure that Harkness isn't going to get a second chance at it. Vancouver's back with the disc.
Vancouver, see, you see those faking that big throw, and you also saw a double team come off. Seattle needs to stop those hucks.
And a double team is legal here in Major League Ultimate, so you can crowd.
Oh, here's a throw. Pottinger looks it off. Wow. Pottinger looks off what looked like a viable cut. Decides to dump it. That's very, very Seattle-like. And there he goes. Puts it in. It works. It works. That bread and butter, take the open throw. Even if it's an 80, 90% throw, you probably have a 99% option, and they're going to play a possession game.
And when you're within 10 yards of the end zone, you got to do that. That's not the time to turn it over and take chances. You got to make 100% sure. Both of these teams likely have end zone sets as well. When they're coming into what's known as the red zone there, they are getting ready to hone in and isolate a cutter, but he didn't have too much of a mark on him, so he was able to get that off. You saw the feed, the quick scuba shot from Savage, who's known for that for his entire career. Big scuba thrower, and it can be deadly when those little flips go right over the mark, and the continuation passes off of that are often backbreakers.
Absolutely. You know, Hibbert with the pull, that's the third pull we've seen go out of bounds on the far side. The wind is not coming directly left. It's also coming a bit away from the camera. And these pulls, I think they're really excited for this game and trying to throw it too hard.
Well, and they've come the upwind, and you want to get that inside-out edge on it and when you're pulling it upwind, but you can't have too much or it'll sail right out of bounds, as we've seen a couple times.
Raider with the disc. Oh, funky hammer over to Tridiak, who catches it. Who bobbles it. This is a show over here. Wow. Gets it right past Hayduke. It's a very difficult D because that disc is coming from behind you over your shoulder. Raider just sees Tridiak, decides, here's the throw I want, throws a low hammer, scoots it past Hayduke, who can't see. Tridiak has to catch the disc while he's being blocked by Hayduke.
Yeah, he wasn't quite ready for it. He had to just get his body behind it, which he did, and then extreme focus to reel it in after 4 bobbles. He had his mind on bringing that in after Raider just sends a bullet in there.
You know, I wonder how different this game would be if we were playing in Vancouver. We have a hometown crowd here in Seattle. The stadium is full. It's a lot of fun, and it gives that extra, excitement and enthusiasm to throw something a little different.
That's right. When you got the crowd behind you,
whoa, there's a Blady shot that Hibbert can't keep in.
Ortiz getting ambitious in the wind.
Whoa.
Baric sends, what the heck is going on? It's a circus show out there.
Well, after that's going to end the first half.
Oh,
you
they
can
were
see
running
the crowd over here.
There, that's right.
we got so excited with that bobble catch that we stopped looking at the time. Apparently they were. But that was that Blady throw. That was just trying to get it in the end zone right before the clock ran out. There were about 4 seconds left.
That's right. Ortiz just looking to throw it over the top, and it just dove there in the downwind, and that brings us to the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, we're going to head over to break, but, man, that was exciting. We've seen a greatest for a goal. We've seen a 4-bobble catch. This has been a great game. We're going to hit the break, and we'll catch you back in the second quarter.
Yeah, I think it's we're talking over each other a little bit, but that's better than silence. Yeah, a lot of silence. Yeah.
I got to realize what they're seeing is here.
Right.
And welcome back to the MLU's opening weekend. And here's Koss pulling, starting off the second quarter. Great pull deep into the end zone. Going to be caught by Pottinger, it looks like. Centering and gaining about 15 yards on that. They have a stack that's splitting apart right now. There's the set play, relying on a break. Can't get the break off. Moves it up. Nice shot to Savage. Moving it over.
Up
Two
the
deep
line.
shots. Nice throw into the wind. Wow, what a incredible throw. You know, that's a difficult throw. He makes it look easy. The defense doesn't have a shot at it.
And then probably smart to holster that one. Cutter Collins was open.
Whoa! Double bid, triple bid. Making sure that disc hits the ground. Exciting. Big hammer. Over the top. Caught by Barich. Move. Geez, these are giant throws. There's an open, huge hammer by Wiggins. Lost in the light.
And Matthew Sewell can't hang on to it. Big bladey hammer. And again, in this wind, that's hard to track that and reel that in.
That was 4 throws just zebra zigzagging across the field, getting all the way from one end zone to the other. And now it's like the pull again.
Those are not small throws. This field is 53 yards wide. Those guys are chucking it across. Here's Savage holding it down in the middle for the Nighthawks. Oh,
whoa!
Big bid, trips him up.
Big bid by Spidell, going for the ghosty or maybe get a hand on it. Sorry, that was Clark. It's Donnie Clark.
Oh,
Huge throw. These are big throws. Crowd gathers. And wow. Phenomenal catch trying to put it in.
Matthew,
Great.
Matthew bears on.
Timeout call after.
Bears on, brings in a big floater and quickly jacks it up the field. It looks like Mark Leduc made a big catch, called timeout because it looks like he got hurt there, and looks like a trainer's out on the field. Exciting play here. None of these guys are hanging on to it for more than 2 seconds. Leduc there on the ground, I believe, did have the wherewithal to call a timeout as he went down, so hopefully not too injured as guys gather around to make sure he's all right.
You know, what we're all hoping for, I mean, both teams, everyone wants a healthy outcome. What we're hoping to see, an injury that can often happen after a giant bid like that, is just getting the wind knocked out of you, which can be pretty scary, can shock you, but you're going to be all right. He's clutching his chest. I hope that's the case. Disc coming back in. Red zone offense, about 4 yards to go. Little dish, keeping the disc, moving it around.
Ortiz there to Pottinger, looking to strike.
On the sideline, fakes the hammer. Throws it. Woo!
Collins toes the line. Looks like
toes
it
the
stays
line.
in.
It's going to be in, but
Nope.
there's it's going to be 7 seconds. You only have 7 seconds to move that disc before the stall is called. Refs call a stall, and that's an automatic turnover. Great movement, though.
Yeah, right up until the end there, and this is the double team. Oh,
all the way across. That
forcing
double
a
team's going to work.
Tricky pass into the wind across the field.
Very difficult catch that that O'Brien couldn't pull in. It's coming across his shoulder with the wind blading. That's just too hard to find the disc, get to where you need to be, find the disc again, and catch it. It's going to be about 10 yards out on the sideline for Vancouver.
That double team, very effective, particularly in the wind. We're going to expect to see that, particularly as players get used to that and plan for it. I'm sure there's sort of, a rule. If we get those guys onto that sideline, let's bring the double team and make it really hard, forcing that bladey shot across the field. And the Nighthawks get the disc back with Ortiz 10 yards out.
Bladey throw into, can't hold on to it. That's a difficult catch. Ortiz a little trapped there. The wind is going against him. The wind is pushing left and away from us. You can see that wind is serious. You can see those flags blowing. And there is a call. There's going to be a timeout called by Seattle trying to rein this in. And we're going to take it over to a break as they try to bring this back into a more bread and butter game that we were talking about earlier.
And there's that double team again in the wind, forcing up a hammer. That one glides nicely from Simon to Holt, down to Murray on the sideline and back to Holt. Looking at that quick movement. There's the lefty scuba over to Murray. Looking to move it quickly. They did get punished with 7 seconds. One of the teams did there. And still hanging on, but no one actually guarding him, so that 7 seconds would not be started right now.
There's a big throw over to Rifkin.
That's up to Rader.
Sorry, Rader. Who
Hangs
boxes
on.
out and makes the catch. You know, it was a little hard to see on the screen is the Seattle offense was extremely deep and really using the entire side of that field, the entire width of that field. Not too surprising to see those big throws going up as soon as somebody like Rader. There's the throw go up, and Rader has to box his man out. He tricks him a bit. Box out, takes 2 more steps, and brings it down.
The old fake go in early and then run it out, and very effective there for Rader on a nice shot from Phil Murray, who got scared a little bit with the defense encroaching there, but Rader pulls a move and hangs on, and Seattle goes up 6-3 with 6:33 left to play in the second period, and Rader gets checking in with their trainer from Ren Fitness there, making sure that he's all right after running.
Yeah, the score is 6-3 right now. We've seen a pretty tight game in that so far Seattle has broken Vancouver twice, meaning their defensive line has scored. And now Vancouver has yet to break Seattle and respond. That's why it's 6-3. You see Vancouver offense taking the field, short pull. They'll have about 40 yards to work it in. And, you know, it's their offense on the field. It's their job to score. They cannot get scored on anymore. They got to get their D back on the field so their D can get the breaks and pull themselves out of this hole.
That's right. Ortiz looking to bring it in. Looking to break the mark over there, into the wind to Savage. Fakes the hammer, then throws the hammer to Collins.
Collins brings it in just outside the end zone. Great throw, though. Really pinpoint position. Whoa! Whoa, what a D by Koss!
And a travel call. It looks like a turnover on the line there. A little flip scuba. Wait, no, that's not a travel on the throw because the Nighthawks are getting it back. Collins gets it back. Perhaps contact on that flip scuba.
Brings it in. Look at that. Scuba gets – oh, that's a double D. That's a D by Barich on the throw. He tips it. And then a second D. Huge play by Koss.
And Vancouver able to punch it in on a backhand from Collins there. I'm not sure that you could see that with the replay, but Vancouver punches it in, brings their score up to 4, and is set to pull upwind to Seattle. And their offense is able to score on that possession.
You know, their offense is going to have to score every time. Well, not every time, but as often as possible to get that D on the field because, you know, the offense's job is not to lose a game. The offense is supposed to score. Their job is to make sure they don't get the team into a hole. It's the D's job to win the game. The D is the one who has to stop the other team and take a point away from them that the other team was supposed to get.
And you want your D on the field. This game is a game of runs. Oftentimes, a team on defense will score and get fired up enough to bring that fire again. In offense, they are supposed to score. If the offense gets scored on, a little part of their heart sinks, and you know, they got to recheck themselves to regain their confidence. Now the Nighthawks on D looking to disrupt Seattle's perfect score on their offensive end so far and try and get their first break.
Nice shot. Murray looking for a quick strike. Nice bid. Brings it in Holt. Holt with the lefty. Often gets some easy breaks. Ooh, just a little flip.
And that's interception for the goal.
Little flip. You know, that's how you want to see the offense run. Just real smooth, real easy. And while so far the offense for Seattle has scored every time they've had the disc, there have been plenty of turnovers. There have been some chances for the Nighthawks to get those breaks.
That's right. When I say they've been perfect, I just mean they've scored on their offensive end. They have been far from perfect as both teams struggling in the wind a little bit with some blades and some floaters. That one, Holt able to reel one in after a nice run down the line, reels it in, and then on this lefty flip backhand there to Sefton, who you see bringing it in. You're going to see Sefton scoring a lot of goals here for the Rainmakers. He's quite an experienced receiver and often will break down a defender and get open under or deep, but definitely you're going to see him bringing in some goals this season.
You know, just to compare, that was just in a row we had Sefton make a cut for Holt. Holt's on the sideline, just has to punch it in about 3 yards, and you see about a 3-yard throw. On the other side, you had Ortiz in about the same position, throws a big blade into the wind, and that's a turnover. Now, I'm not saying the big blade can't work, but you would rather see the offense take that 3-yard shot for a 3-yard throw gain.
That's right. On the end zone, keep in mind the 7-second stall count. These guys have got to move the disc. You can't stare down cuts until one opens up. You got to keep that disc moving. And now here the Nighthawks are coming back. Looks like Savage to Ortiz. Back to Savage through some pressure. There's lots of Rainmakers defenders there. And back to Pottinger here. And Vancouver now moving it really well across the field. And now they've got it in the middle of the field, of course, which is the strongest position. Pottinger receives one,
Wow.
And then a little flip out to, it looks like Jordan Tesserolo for the goal. And the Nighthawks scoring relatively easily on offense there.
You know, it's really beautiful offense you're seeing right now. The D didn't have much of a chance, and it can make the crowd a little quieter because you're not seeing those huge plays where Harkness is jumping out of bounds to pull the greatest that Clark pulls down, which, as exciting as it is really not what you want to see out of your offense.
No, you do not want to make a guy jump out of bounds to bring it back in. Of course, if you are going to send a throw out of bounds, you hope that someone will get out there and bring it back in. But the goal is to keep it on the field. And, of course, with a wide field like this, it's especially important to bring it back with those swings into the middle of the field where you have the most options in terms of strikeable yardage gainers, in bounds. When you're getting on that line, you're cutting down your throwing angles, but it does get certainly tempting to send a long one when you're there on the line.
Boy, Hibbert with a monster pull. It's about the best pull we've seen going upwind. And Karlinski's going to bring it in with a mark already on him. This is going to be difficult. Seattle's looking awfully deep right now, trying to isolate Sefton. Sefton cutting deep. Throw goes under to Murray. Murray with a big hammer. There's going to be enough time for Morgan to get there. Whoa, Rader comes down with it.
Hibbert made a huge run to get that. Rader brings it down. He's off to the races with Hibbert trailing. Now Hibbert's on the mark there, and looks like probably a strip there as Rader was trying to make a move.
You know, that was a great play by Hibbert to try to get that D, and a great idea. Once Rader catches it, he dishes it and goes. Don't let Hibbert get back on where his position would like to be. Goes for a break, throws it out of bounds, hoping to draw a foul, but none called.
Wow. And that's something that we might see these guys, wanting to get the foul call and, get a throw off with some insurance. But right there, checks out an insurance plan from a scam artist there and doesn't get to reap the benefits there on his turnover.
Vancouver calls a timeout. They're trying to regroup. And, this would be a great place for Vancouver to get that break after this timeout. We're going to go to break. They're going to break, and we'll be back with you. Vancouver defense with the disc trying to put a second break in. Here we are back. This is the second chance that Vancouver has to get this break. They have the entire field to go, and they're trapped. They're trapped. There's a call right away. Kinley on the mark. Ortiz ready to pull it back in. Kinley forcing him almost upfield, making sure there's no dump. Dishes it off, difficult throw, gets about -4 yards to Pottinger. Pottinger throws a great flick. Pottinger known for that flick. Beautiful shot.
And that's Galitz again bringing down the long shot. Galitz, number 6 for Vancouver, running a lot of cuts down and getting a lot of yards.
There's another big shot. There's going to be a crowd to gather. Holt's underneath. Pottinger's underneath. Holt knocks it down. There's about 4 people under that disc, about 4 people with a real chance at it.
And this wind kind of limiting the Nighthawks' bread and butter, which is those long shots. There's been a lot of hucks going this way, left to right, upwind, that have just hung in the air, kind of been anybody's ball.
You can see that wind on the jerseys. It's picking up quite a bit. And these teams are, big throw, nice, huge bid. Oh, I think it was just out of screen. A monster bid to try to pull it down by Clark, but it gets past and it's rolling down. These teams really have to adjust for the wind. This wind is picking up.
That's right. Yep, the flags are blowing there. You see at half-mast, of course, because of the tragedy in Boston. Now the Nighthawks running up the sideline here. That huck on the other end was a little bit hasty from Kinley. Here's another big flick up the sideline. Collins running it out, grabs the disc, looks to flip.
Whoa!
Flip it over
too
to
high!
Pottinger,
Too high! Too high! That's a shame. Collins looks to flip it over to Pottinger.
And Sewell comes in and says, no, that one's hanging too much, and that's mine. Again, the hastiness there. Thought he had an easy flip, and, of course, Collins running it out, grabs the disc, looks to flip. It's mine. Pottinger wants to grab it before it gets too high. Sewell comes in, cleans up, says, no, that's for me.
Boy, it's almost heartbreaking to see them. That's a defensive line that for Vancouver worked it up the entire length of the field, got it kicked off by a great throw. Ortiz dumps it off to Pottinger. Pottinger with that monster flick. You've seen it twice now, about a 40-yard gainer up that sideline. They center the disc. They play it all just right. And then there's a little missed throw that prevents them from putting that break on the board.
That kills you. Those little flips that go awry on the end zone line are ones that are going to haunt you. And that one, Collins to trying to get it to Pottinger just puts it a little too high, and it gets up out of reach. So you really got to take care of that. That disc is like your baby on the end zone line. Of course, you get wide-eyed when you're out there running a big cut, reeling one down for a lot of yards, and within spitting distance of scoring a goal, you want to be the guy to send it in there. And sometimes the eyes get a little bit wider than the window. There, he did have a big window, but just a throw going a little awry into the wind there.
Yeah, you know, there's nothing that can deflate a team like having something work out so perfectly on paper, and then in execution there's a small error that takes it all away from you. Simon bringing the disc in. There's a horizontal stack out of Seattle looking pretty deep right now.
Two big guys on the double team. Now you got to have a cool head here as Simon. Because those throws, of course, if you get it off out of that double team, then there's someone out there who's unguarded. Seattle running some super deep cutters. Of course, that is downwind, so those throws can get off. Here's Holt looking. There's
one of those throws. There's going to be a battle right now. You've got
Sefton's got the height advantage.
A nice box out as well. You know, that's one of those great ideas. Just because you have a height advantage doesn't mean you have to sky the person. You can still box them out and just keep that advantage of, hey, if we both end up under the disc, I've got 6 inches.
That's right, and when you got that in the end zone, you know you're going to use it. So Sefton there sees what he has and puts it to good use up in the air, again, with great position.
You know, that's got to be a little frustrating. It's now time for Vancouver offense. It's 8-5, 2:08 left in the quarter. Vancouver offense would love to finish this off. 2:08's enough time to score, get your defense on the field, and end with a break. There could be very little better for Vancouver right now than to get a little momentum, get a break back, and make up for that just really beautiful ultimate that ended up with a little bit of a missed throw and Sewell coming down and cleaning it up.
That's right. Little missed throws make a big difference. Particularly they were on the upwind goal line there. That's especially crushing because Seattle was able to send it back downwind and convert. Here comes Vancouver's offense with just over 2 minutes remaining. And, of course, if the clock runs out midpoint, that is the end of the period. And if a throw goes up, then you see how it's resolved. Here's Vancouver and
whoa, big break throw. Great throw.
Ortiz to Collins reels another one in and looks to strike.
That's an exceptionally difficult throw. That was a break, a flick that just went around to the opposite side of the field that everybody wasn't.
Savage flips one to Ortiz. Their handler's working it outside of the goal line, which is what you want. Those guys are going to be your decision makers. And as I was saying with the wide eyes earlier, there's Pottinger.
Whoa! Whoa! Great heads-up defense.
That was Matty Zemmel coming in here and getting a poach block in the lane there. Huge defense, unexpected. Now he's got the disc coming up the other way.
Big throw goes up, huge flick.
That's
He's saying, hey,
beautiful
Spidell, go run this out. Spidell with a monster bid.
Oh.
Can't pull it in.
Almost gets there. Great extension on that bid. Zemmel, of course, after that D, probably getting fired up, wanting to make damage on both ends. And now Savage looking to bring it down here. Just over a minute remaining. The clock's still running.
There's that throw. Boy, that is really far out in front. It's trailing away. Spidell gives it his all. He lands about a third of a second after the disc, not even. It's really just a bang disc hits, and then he's on the ground.
And that was a great shot upwind, of course, a little far there, but it's going to work more often than probably those floaters that can be anybody's
Here's
fault.
the huck going off right away. It's off to the races. Beautiful throw using that air and huge D.
Sam Harkness tracking it and getting up and over, sending it down to the ground. Great defense.
Unbelievable. Now, Loach is a big guy. He has some height, and you saw them giving a high five. Everybody's kind of happy with that play. That is a huge show of athleticism from Harkness.
Zemmel to Seth Wiggins, swings it over to Harkness. There's a call. It looks like a travel, and with 15 seconds remaining here, the Nighthawks are in striking distance, looking to make something happen.
They need to score this goal.
There's a double team. There's
the throw.
And Ortiz reels it in.
There you go. 6 seconds left. Now, this is going to be exciting. There are 6 seconds left on the clock, and that clock does not start until Seattle picks up the disc. Right? It does not start with the pull. It starts with Seattle picking up the disc. So you're going to expect Seattle not to pick up the disc as soon as they get it, to wait a second, have some people, and probably send a Hail Mary, hope to put one more point on the board. As long as you got, the time, let's use it.
That's right. They got one play coming, and that's send a guy deep and loft one up. They are going downwind.
Here you see the replay right now. And there's a double team. They're just hoping to get a block right there, but he finds the open player, throws it in.
Seattle scrambling a little bit on defense there and leaving Ortiz pretty much wide open in the end zone. That was an unexpected turn on the call, and now Seattle going to have 6 seconds. I might see a bladey pull here. I'm not sure that's what's going to happen, but if you do try to knock down a blade, and as soon as the contact happens on the receiving end, then the clock started, but he does take a standard inside-out floaty pull, and Vancouver will try and get down and smother this defense, as undoubtedly Seattle will send it deep. There's Sefton streaking down the far side.
There's everybody going deep. 6 seconds starts now. Clock's on. 3 seconds left. Here's the shot. Need to put it in the end zone. That's going to make it to the end zone, and it's caught! And it's caught!
Looking down the sideline. Harkness from the front of the stack there. In trouble. Oh, Wiggins reels it in. And high backhand across the field there. That's Sewell reeling it in. Showing hammer. There it goes.
Oh!
Indeed, but Zemmel hangs on.
Whoa!
A nice bid, it looks like, by Ortiz, trying to get in the way of Sewell's hammer, but it finds its home there with Zemmel, and there was 2 Seattle players open there. Sewell sending it over there and hoping for the best, and they come up with the goal to take the lead 11-6.
You've got to be a bit frustrated if you're Vancouver right now. They've seen a bunch of very close plays where that ball's just hanging on the top of the net, and it keeps falling over on the Seattle side. There was a monster D by Ortiz, a monster bid, but it didn't work. It didn't affect the play. And in the first point of this half, when Seattle was on offense going for an offensive score, there were 2 very tight, very contested plays. Both of them fall in Seattle hands. And even on that one, you saw over to Seth Wiggins. He has to go up really high, gets a hand on the disc. It just falls right next to him, and he catches it on the way down. That's got to be a bit disappointing for the strategy being so good, but the execution errors but the execution battles are all falling the way of Seattle.
That's right, and head coach Lugston of the Nighthawks, as he told us on the break, the 50-50 balls are falling in Seattle's hands. Not falling necessarily. He was credited them as making some great plays, which we've seen here today. Vancouver hoping that they can turn this tide, as it looks like that's Bearzon. Nope, that's Ortiz there. Flipping it over to the middle and over to Pottinger, as Vancouver looking to run a horizontal stack here, sending one deep. There's a hammer up, going far side and too far there, out of bounds, and it'll be Seattle disc coming up the sideline at around the 25-yard line.
Seattle starting off this second half, right away they've got a score on offense followed by a break. This is their chance to put in another break. That would be the 5th break for Seattle if they can put this in. They already have 4, and Vancouver yet to get a defensive score.
It looks like there's a timeout on the field here as Simon and Collins are chatting and walking to their respective teams. These guys obviously building a rapport here as Seattle looks to strategize about their attack upfield with some yards to gain here going upwind. As you mentioned, the wind not quite as strong, but those flags are still blowing, and you can see it on their jerseys as Seattle huddles in to try and make it rain upfield against the Nighthawks. There's those flags there. As you can see, that's the U.S. flag, and then, of course, Washington State below that with the green.
What we haven't seen so far that I was expecting is those game plans we talked about earlier. We have not really seen Seattle doing the game plan, that bread and butter, using the width of the field that we're used to seeing out of Seattle Regional Club Ultimate. And Vancouver is not so much doing the long balls and the super athletic cutters who just wear down their men as we're used to seeing out of Vancouver Regional Ultimate. It's just a reminder that the MLU is a new game. We're using a new disc. We have a new field size. We have new rules, a new stall. We have refs. We have a crowd here. We have people traveling, big teams playing each other. It's really hard to predict what's going on, and I guess the rules of the past are not applying anymore.
That's right. We only have what we have to go on, but, of course, new standards being set here today, and as you could see there during the timeout, the crowd loving it, doing some games here, and there are lots and lots of people out here in Seattle tonight cheering on their Rainmakers, who have a sizable lead here as Vancouver's bringing the double team over there and getting a foul there. So it looks like he'll take 5 yards and flip something up and out of there, and Holt tries to bring it in. It's getting a little messy over there on the sideline. Now that double team, again, really effective on the sideline in the wind, as it looks like Mario O'Brien was trying to get something off the line. There's one across the field.
That was a foul that got Holt the disc back.
Yeah, that was right. And O'Brien was the one who swung it across there.
There's a big throw by Holt, big lefty. It's going to be to traffic. Raiders going to go up.
No,
whoa, trouble.
Sefton.
And Sefton, Sefton, after some contact, ends up taking it and doing a little showboating for this crowd. The crowd is really energetic. It's a lot of fun being out here. The crowd is over 1,500 strong, and you're seeing some familiar faces. You're seeing some unfamiliar faces. There is just a party atmosphere over here at Chief Sealth Stadium.
That's right, and they're loving that one by Sefton. As he gets the bump here, you'll see he's coming
It's
down
going to
the
be
field.
the traffic. Raiders
go. Boom, gets turned around. Never takes his eye off the left hand, holds it on the ground.
Sefton, sorry, Sefton.
What's going on? That's what's going on. Goal time.
And that was the second break, the third consecutive point this quarter, this half. And the second half, the first half ended 9-6 with Seattle up 3 breaks, which really means that Vancouver's got to get their D on the field. And so far, the offense has not been able to score.
When you got 1,500 people cheering you on, you better do it right, and that really energizes you on both O and D. There they are doing the wave and really trying to get their Rainmakers to step up. There's a big Rainmaker pull, big pull downfield, and Ortiz reels it in for the Nighthawks, and they're off, really hoping to bring it upwind and score so that they can get some momentum in this game, as Savage looking downfield and not seeing any cuts. Slices it over to Pottinger. Open deep cutter.
That's a difficult throw. It's pretty far. Turns out it's too far.
Kind of a laser trying to go upwind, and we saw earlier some of those were hanging. That one just kind of kept going.
Galitas decided he wasn't going to bid for that. It was too far in front, and he doesn't want to risk injury.
And Zemmel brings it in for the Rainmakers, swinging it across there. That's Harkness. A little go back cut by Koss, doesn't get it. Handler's still with it. Nice shot across the field there. Let's see, that's looks like Sewell with it. No, yeah, flipping it. There we go. Lots of movement.
Big throw, big throw. There's going to be a fight.
No.
Wiggins goes up too early, and
Collins knocks it down, says no. Collins looking to strike on that end zone.
Collins with a big fake.
Oh!
Whoa!
Knows he's getting up close to 7 seconds to where the throw was, not at the front of the line. That's why Kinley was looking confused. Facing a strong double team here from Vancouver.
Vancouver again with the double team. You're going to see those upside down throws often with the double team because it's a hard throw, but there's somebody open, so that's a great chance. I'm just going to throw whatever I can to get it to you. Harkness with the disc. Lots of little handler movement. Very deep stack right now. Not even a stack at this point. It's just kind of individual runners. It's such a big field. There's the throw. Harkness got to run it down. That is a far ball. Too far.
Yeah, Wiggins saw it. Harkness running. Harkness had a whole bunch of space, and once he gets out in front of someone, it's a rare individual who's going to catch up with him. Wiggins knows it, tries to put it out in front, a little too far out in front. Harkness can't get there.
There is definitely a height advantage on the Vancouver Nighthawks. They have an extremely tall, aggressive team, but there's a speed factor that Seattle knows and loves, and you're going to see a lot of those throws just put out to space in front of people and have people like Sewell, Harkness, some of these fast guys, Raider, who's good in the air but also awfully quick, just scream it down and win that race to the disc.
That's right. When there's this wind like today, though, you sometimes see the taller, better jumpers bringing down some of these floaters. Both teams have been struggling with some of the pinpoint shots deep, as you can see in the wind, either getting away from them too far or too floaty. As Vancouver looking against some poachy handler D to keep it moving upfield. Ortiz flips it up here. That's Galitz with it.
Galitz with a high throw. There's going to be a crowd gathering. 4 people, 2 of each side.
Oh!
Whoa, wow, what a grab. Unbelievable.
Oscar Pottinger says that one's mine.
Oscar
flips it over to LeDuc, looking to strike again. They've gotten into trouble here in this spot before. See if they can make some good decision making and keep it swinging.
There's a big hammer, difficult catch. Yep. It's going to get batted down before it turns sideways to get it floated all. It ends up just hitting the ground like a blade. And, man, disappointing for Vancouver. The Nighthawks, once again, their offense out there, not able to convert in the red zone.
That's right. They're really getting antsy and trying to punch one in rather than opting for the easy swings, which create those open shots. They're kind of looking at openings, but taking tough throws to get there as Seattle backing up into their own end zone. This double team is effective there. Harkness thought he had contact. No, Vancouver says goal. The ref's still talking to the players here.
The ref's looking like there might have been a foul.
Harkness sure thought so and was turned to talk to the ref. It looks like he will get it back and gain 5 yards. Seattle disc still. That goal does not count for the Nighthawks, and Harkness flips it over to Seth Wiggins on the flick side, and Seattle's got the disc again.
You know, Seattle moving little throws, little handler throws. Well, there's that one's a big shot.
Zemmel looking to track it. That's nice to space.
Nice throw. Great space. Zemmel quick throws a difficult. Oh no, trouble. Trouble, and there's going to be a foul on the throw. He's going to get 5 yards. He's going to bring it back. I would love to see Seattle, with the commanding lead they have right now, tone it down, bring it back to that bread and butter game, a game of possession, a game where you're not having so many chances. I mean, even chances, even if they don't work, for the Vancouver defense to get a break.
That's right. You won just a really easy shot.
That was a push pass.
That's right. Seth Wiggins loses his defender. A defender comes off the stack to try and get there. Zemmel with a little laser push over the mark. And Seth Wiggins gets the disc, and Seattle gets the goal.
Difficult throw. Here's Zemmel. He's got the disc ready
really
on the other side. He sees Seth Wiggins get open. He doesn't have time to switch the disc grip or anything, so he just pushes it. Just a straight push pass. Here, you take it. You're in the end zone.
And Wiggins takes it, puts it right down on the ground, says, got it. That's a goal. 13-6 Seattle with 1:02 remaining in the third period here. Vancouver, if they're going to get back in this game, which they can here, there's still plenty of time in the fourth period, 10 minutes remaining in the fourth, and another additional minute here, and the clock not running between points. Vancouver is going to need to make up some serious ground and really turn the tide if they're going to have a chance at getting up on this game.
And, you know, they're going to meet another – they have 4 games this season, right? So they're going to meet another 3 times. It's not just about this game. Of course they'd like to win it. Of course they'd like to fire themselves up. But it's also showing that, you know what, next time when we're in our home stadium, when you guys come up to Vancouver and we have a crowd of 1,500 strong rooting for us, the tides are going to be turned, and they're going to want to show that in these last few minutes of the last 1 minute of the third quarter and in the fourth quarter to prove to themselves and to Seattle the next time we meet, things aren't going to be so nice for you.
That's right. Well, they need to put some in the goal this time if they're going to hang on. But, yeah, it's going to be anybody's game the next time they play. The outcome of this game certainly the loser will be fired up for the next time. And looks like Vancouver will take it here at their own 45.
There's something we're used to seeing. Pottinger coming in with the disc. There was a vertical stack, clearly a set play call, and that is some of Vancouver's known plays, the regional ultimate there. There's the throw, difficult throw, get a second chance.
Looks like he was going to hang on to it, but it looks like
that's the U walking back towards us.
It looked like a kind of an easy goal there, but our angle on it might not have been so good. He reaches to try and get it and doesn't quite reel it in, and Seattle's disc coming the other way. There's a whistle on the field. Looks like maybe a foul as Adam Simon will advance the disc 5 yards and put it back into play.
You know, it's also quite hard in this lighting at night. We had a difficult view of the disc. They sometimes do too. Depth perception can be much harder. When you have a sun, you have shadows, you have natural light. It can be easier to tell depth in this field, especially with the disc that flies straight. 8 seconds left in the quarter. There's going to have to be a throw. Big shot. Foot block. Foot block. Liu gets the foot block to say, look, I know you guys want this shot. I know you want a chance to put another score up. No, we're not letting that happen, and we're going to start the fourth quarter off right. Third quarter comes to an end. Seattle gets up 2 more breaks, 5 breaks for Seattle, 0 for Nighthawks. Score is 13-6, 10 minutes left in the game. Fourth quarter will be coming at you right after this break. And here we are in the fourth quarter. Seattle Rainmakers with a commanding lead 13-6 against the Vancouver Nighthawks. Now the Nighthawks have the advantage of night right now. They are used to playing in the dark. Remember, winter up there is long, and they do play under lights all the time. Seattle, pretty comfortable in the rain, and we were hoping for rain today. It was looking like rain. It turns out it ends up being a beautiful day for Frisbee, but the Rainmakers still proven dominance. They've put 5 breaks on the board so far, at least one in every single quarter. Now it's the fourth quarter. Third quarter ended with a great foot block by Liu, proving that that their D is ready to get on the field and get angry.
They just need to convert on the end zone line, Jake. They're getting there numerous times and punching it into tight windows or taking hammers across the field in the wind. Vancouver, if they want to have a shot at this game, needs to finish those long points that they've been successful at gaining yards and getting into the end zone line. A lot of their turnovers are coming right there on the end zone line, and that's a mistake that we haven't seen Seattle make as much. They've been getting those breaks by getting Ds and then converting.
You know, the conversions by the Rainmakers, especially at the beginning where they set the tone early, they had a couple spectacular plays, which the crowd loves. We love to see it, and, you know, it fires up the team. But at heart, strategically, you'd rather those throws be more precision, more inbounds, and not have to have those picture-perfect moments. You'd rather the offense move smoothly and look like it's just an easy game. There's nothing the defense could have done.
That's right. Behind every great play, there's a bad throw. But, you know, the crowd came out for some of those great plays. If it was, you know, perfect, boring, ultimate, still fun to watch these guys, you know, hone their craft. But the crowd loves those big plays. But like you say, you know, every great play was probably a throw gone awry or a tricky window as the stall count went up. Now the Nighthawks using the width of the field. That was something that their coach said that they were going to have to do. That's a flick by Pottinger that does not even come close to hanging out long enough for the cutter there. Kirk Savage, who's normally handling, went deep, hoping to get one from his buddy Pottinger. Pottinger kind of leaves him high and dry there with sending one into the turf. And Seattle gets a call on the field. It looks like a foul as Harkness will advance the disc 5 yards against Collins. Strikes one big yards into the middle for Seth Wiggins. Easy shot there.
Ooh, a deep cut that was looked off, which I actually like. I like the look off. Let's use some more handler movement. We're in command of the game. Seattle's got to know they're in command and just keep the disc.
That's right, and that was Burton, who's more of a cutter than a thrower generally, so he hangs on, says, I'll let these other guys take their shots. I'm going to go catch some. And Seattle out of a tight spot there to Harkness.
Extremely aggressive D by Nighthawks right now, especially on the dumps. You see that handler movement getting stifled by double teams. There's a low stall, and, oh, nice shot. Nice shot to find Sewell in the end zone from Zemmel.
Sewell, a nice break flick. That's a really precision shot there. The inside-out forehand, possibly one of the hardest standard throws in Ultimate. And these guys are the pros showing.
There's a low stall.
And there it is. Bink. There you go. Goal.
You know, so far, I really like what I just saw out of the defense from Vancouver. Nighthawks were trying something different. You've seen them have a strategy that's a little different for MLU rules. So the MLU rules, for example, allow double teams, not triple, but double teams, and you've seen them try it out. We're going to use these early games to see how this works. You know, we've already tried it against ourselves, but this is our chance to show in game time scenario how does it work. And right there you saw a defense that was really aggressive, stifling on that handler movement, which is such a foundation of Seattle's offense. And that, I think, looked really good. I think that's got to be a good result, a happy finish for the Vancouver defense.
Yeah, they want to get that intensity up. Of course, that was a really nice throw to punch it in there in a tight window. You want to create those tight windows, and those aren't going to go every time. Their defense is definitely fired up. It's hard when you're down this much to get fired up. Vancouver players and coaches have a long history of really turning up the energy. A lot of the older players and longtime leaders on the Vancouver side get a lot of respect from the younger players. And so, you know, the coaches, Lugston and Cruikshank, of course, stalwarts of the Vancouver Ultimate scene. And, you know, they might want these guys to turn up the energy. It looks like they really were on D, like you said. But Seattle showing a lot more poise on the end zone line than Vancouver has, able to swing it around and punch it in. And Vancouver looking a little bit hasty, trying to they need to get goals quick as Pottinger flicks it over to Savage. Savage looking deep, back to Pottinger. And they got to use that width like Coach Lugston was telling us right after the half. That's over there to Galitz, who's been doing a lot of work on both ends of the disc. A lot of big catches, and then looks like he's handling some as well.
And once again, you got to say that was a success for Seattle defense. You know, whenever you see Vancouver set up, Pottinger brings the disc in, there's a vertical stack, you know that's a called play. And as you can see, oh, there's a throw.
Ortiz
there's a throw.
That's
and
nice
Collins
shot.
pulls it in. Very nice catch. Very nice catch.
Brings it up the line. That's an opening. There's a downwind shot. Oh,
nice D. Nice D. Monster D by Burton. Burton says, no, we are not letting this down without a fight. One of the nice things about having the opponents get fired up, it fires your own team up. And you know, that turnover that the Nighthawks got was from Hibbert really changing the mark. So Hibbert was forcing the disc backfield.
Here's that play. He sees space. Puts on a kind of a fluffy flick there that allows Burton to get in and stuff it out of bounds. You gotta think that these guys are going to put a little bit more mustard on that. Of course, it is scary going downwind. It's hard to get that touch on the disc so it doesn't sail too far. Puts a little bit too little on that one though, and allows Burton to get in there and get both hands on it.
You know, I would be a little nervous, though, if I were Seattle. We've seen some defensive switches, just meaning different kinds of defense coming out of the Nighthawks that have been very successful. On that last one, you saw Hibbert doing a standard mark, and then once the stall got up to about 4, remember, out of a 7-count stall, Hibbert switched back, pushing the disc upfield, taking away the dump, and that led to a very difficult throw where there was a miscue. That miscue is no surprise given a really aggressive, very known player on you, forcing you against what you want to do.
And he bobbled it, and then the Vancouver defense able to bobble it down to the ground. And they've got 20 yards to go here for trying to get their 9th point here as they're waiting for the refs to call the time back in as Ortiz with Kinley on him on the mark. And
there's a foul on the throw.
Okay, and then Kinley taking away the dump, forcing it upfield. Nice shot over into the middle. That's Pottinger looking to score. Look at no, goes to
fakes the hammer.
Galitz fakes the hammer. There's a call.
There's a call. It's going to be -5 yards. 6 minutes left in the quarter. 6 minutes left in the game. There's the shot.
Galitz
Good bid, but they take it.
Galitz takes a shot to LeDuc. Yeah, nice attempt on defense there, but Vancouver with an open pass there. Looks like Sewell is trying to mix it up in there and put a stuff on that, but Vancouver able to hang on, and now within 5 with just under 6 minutes remaining.
Wow, that was great. This is
Here's
Vancouver's
the shot. There it is, and as you see, a great bid on D, but just can't get there that too easy, and that's what we've not seen so much from Vancouver all game. They've had a few chunders on the goal line there. They're able to get a little bit more patient, find that open cut. That's what end zone is supposed to look like on offense every time.
You know, that was their defensive offense. That was another break. But, boy, that's what you love to see from an offense is you can put the best players in the game on us. You can have them make huge bids at the end zone, but you just can't stop this because we are throwing it where we want to throw it, when we want to throw it, to the people we want to throw it to, and they're commanding that offense right now. Big run, and they're 5 points away, 6 minutes remaining in the quarter. Clock comes in as Simon picks up the disc.
And Vancouver hoping to keep that tide going. They've definitely turned it on here in the 4th quarter. Raiders switch it over to Sefton. They're trying to get there. Vancouver is over to Rifkin. Rifkin within spitting distance of the goal there, 10 yards out. They lose some yards there to O'Brien. Back to Rifkin. O'Brien takes off up line. Doesn't take the shot. Again, the patience.
Whoa! Nope, can't bring it in. Can't bring it in. Tried to save a low throw with a big bid, but it ends up hitting the ground.
Jinxed Rifkin as he looked to flip it to Sefton. Jinxed him with the patience call as he may have gotten a little hasty and put one out where Sefton couldn't hang on. Sefton kind of pissed at himself there, but it looks like it's timeout on the field, and these teams will talk it over as we head to a break.
And here we are. After that timeout, dumps it right back to, looks like Pottinger. And boy, Vancouver all excited. There's a big throw. That's going to be too low as Barrich picks it up. On the run, trying to put this in, trying to stop the bleeding. Wiggins gets the disc, runs out of bounds, bringing it back in, about 3 yards to go.
And you see he's looking right to the middle. He's not looking to punch it in there. Seattle has been doing a better job than Vancouver of swinging it across.
Difficult throw, big bid. It can't make it, can't make it. Huge bid, but boy, there's got to be disappointing. Zemmel trying all he can to get there to make sure that their offense puts the disc in like they're supposed to. The offense, the first time this game is this quarter, about 4 minutes ago. There's a big throw. He's going to be able to run it down. Great throw.
And that's Mark Leduc bringing it in. We've seen a lot of action from him on the Vancouver side with a lot of big, long receptions.
This could be a monster break for Vancouver. This could really change this game and change the next game. Player down.
Ortiz flips it
Cuts
over,
up line.
back over to Galitz. Galitz on the goal line. What will he do? Will he get
4
patient,
yards out,
push it in?
2 yards out.
Ortiz, a good decision maker in situations like this, so we've seen a couple of ill-advised blades here from Vancouver.
There we go.
Ortiz.
Over to Pottinger. Back to Ortiz. Little handler movement. Pottinger about 1 yard out. He's just got to find anybody to gain a yard. There's the throw. Can he keep it in? He does. Man, third break for Vancouver in this fourth quarter, bringing it up to 14-10. What a change in the momentum of this game.
And 3:49 remaining in the game in the fourth period here. And Vancouver saying this ain't over. And a little bit more hushed Seattle crowd now as Seattle needs to fire it up here and keep it raining on those Nighthawks. The Nighthawks right now soaring in the fourth quarter.
You know, Seattle's got to win this game, not just win it, but win it in their own hearts and to let Vancouver know we won this game. It's frustrating to be really doing well. The other team's digging into a hole, but then they get momentum. They've really been winning this quarter, no question.
No question. That's 3 breaks, right? And it looks like they're setting up here to pull. Hibbert with the pull, looking to try and get their fourth. And the wind still, this is a downwind pull, and it's sneaking down the way the wind is blowing kind of left to right as Vancouver looks down the field, right to left, of course, as we view the video here. And the Rainmaker offense is underway on the far side of the field with Karlinski, big shot, fake, over to Simon in the middle.
You know, there's 3:30 left in this game. At one point, at half, the score was 9-6 Seattle. Then it went up to 14-6 Seattle, and the response has been overwhelming. It's 14-10 now. Big
Raider
throw.
puts a floater. Anybody's ball here.
Crowd gathers. Lots of
Oh, nobody's.
Bobbled. Nobody could get it. You know, it's tough to get that disc when you're flat-footed. Everyone's crowded there. It's hard to get the height that you're used to. And so it's no surprise the disc floats over them. Bobbled, hits the ground. And, boy, another chance for this storming Vancouver Nighthawks team. Takes a big shot.
That looked like it had some nice
Oh,
touch.
taken out.
Underneath.
That is a big fall from where is that? We can't find the number right now.
Looks like Alexander Davis goes down. Could have been Murray undercutting him there. Davis limping off.
You know, Davis went up so big that when Murray came through, he caught the bottom of his leg, and he lands from, you know, shoulder height horizontal onto the ground. That's got to hurt. He's limping, but he looks all right. It looked worse than that. I'm glad he's okay.
Yeah, he's limping off. Well,
here's the throw.
It looked to have some nice touch, but then there was some contact.
Yep.
Davis going up huge. I'm not sure that he would have gotten there had there not been contact. It looks like the ref saying, yeah, we're going to give him another shot, and we're back here.
They're about 4 yards out.
There's Davis coming off of the field, and the action is just paused again as Vancouver with the disc near the end zone. The refs are conferring here, and we're going to know the outcome here in just a second. Vancouver looking to be just 2 yards out, 3 yards out of their 5th goal in a row, and 14-10 with just under 3 minutes remaining in this game.
You know, the crowd is now chanting defense. There's 1,500 people out here, all chanting defense. This defense has not the defense right now for Seattle is their offensive line. Their offensive line has been broke 3 times in the last about 4 points.
And here's Seattle hoping that they can cheer their Rainmakers on to stop that next break from Vancouver.
But, boy, this would be a 4th break in a row. This would really send a signal that Seattle does not want to hear.
Yeah, this crowd trying to keep the nice cushion as the refs are still talking about it. And the players on the field getting antsy to know the outcome here. Defense trying to stay warm, offense staying warm. These guys have been battling out. It's cold out there, cold and windy. Seattle maybe hoping it would rain, bring that rain, fire the crowd up, which is undercover here, of course, so they wouldn't mind so much. And the refs are talking over with both coaches here, and there's some sort of call on the field. We're not exactly sure what it is.
Sometimes they do have to confer with the coaches because depending on the play and what happened, the refs can make a call and the coaches or the players can actually overrule it and say, you know what, I know you called a foul. We think it was a great play. We don't think it was a foul, and we can overrule it in the other team's favor. So I'm not sure what the conference is, but there's a discussion going on. The players getting antsy. You see some of their motions, they're clearly, come on, we're jittery. The Nighthawks are storming up. The Seattle is trying to stop this bleeding, and they all just want this to come in and get this aggression out.
And the refs and coaches are breaking. They're still chatting it over here as you see Coach Wiggins for Seattle chatting with his players, and it looks like they might be bringing someone in here. Coach Lugston is waving some of his players off. Not exactly sure what's going on here. It looks like maybe a substitution.
Well, there was an injury call.
And Davis is coming back on the field. It looks like maybe the refs didn't give the okay for that substitution. I'm not exactly sure what happened.
Well, they can sub a couple players, and the reason they're probably subbing players right now is because that was a defensive offense against an offensive defense. These are players not used to playing on that side of the disc. Disc is coming in, 3 yards out, throw goes up, and there's the D. There's a D, and already we have streaking Seattle players all excited for that.
Phil Murray sneaks around and actually gets open for the throw, even though he was on D. He snuck around the other side of the cutter and easily gets that D from a big hustle play. Made it easy for himself, and Seattle chipping it in their own end zone.
This is Seattle's offense.
Yeah, that's right. That was a break opportunity for Vancouver. Seattle back in their comfort zone on O. Matt Rader holsters one that he did throw last time, sent it up to the stars, and no one able to come down with it. And there's a fluffy pass into the middle, and Vancouver back on offense right outside their goal.
Geez, that Rainmaker offense looking awfully jittery. That was not difficult throw, and it's put in. Another break for Vancouver.
Now that was a huge throw fake by Alan Cowan. Gets his defender on the ground, able to fire that inside-out flick in without a mark. The big fake, and it looked like Karlinski was saying, I'm not going to let you throw this one in, but he was just faking. And then that easy shot in for the goal for Vancouver.
After half where it was 9-6, Seattle.
He's falling down. Oh, sorry. And then there's the goal. Sorry, what were you saying, Jake?
That's a great shot. At half it was 9-6. Then Seattle rattled off 5 in a row. That is often just the nail in the coffin. The other team is dejected, that their heart sunk, and now Vancouver responds with 5 in a row of their own. And boy, you can see these jitters on the Seattle offense. The last 2 plays were not so much Vancouver defense being stifling or making huge plays. It was Seattle offense that's gotten jittery. They've just been broken 4 times in a row. They're putting new players out. They're putting out their second offensive lines, trying anything. Come on, guys, let's get this game going.
That's right. And Vancouver looking to get a quick D and then a quick shot. You can bet that as soon as Vancouver gets that disc back, they're going to be looking to score with just under 2 minutes remaining. They're down 3. Seattle just needs to hang on to possession here, but that's a tricky one because they're used to being aggressive. You don't want to just hang on to possession. You got to still try and punch one in, but you got to know that Vancouver's going to be stepping up the D, getting real physical, and looking to convert another break.
That play call was clearly for a huck, and there's another one.
Reed Koss puts it up.
And there's traffic.
Oh,
whoa, huge D.
And they've got to convert
Pottinger.
Quickly. That's a great play, and then a great swing to get it moving again. And there's some streakers.
Pottinger with a monster D.
Liu puts up one that may go out of bounds. No, he keeps it in there.
Is that in? Call.
Yeah.
In. Called in.
And it looks like Alan Cowan.
Oh, Seattle all over the place. Everybody bidding on every fake.
Hibbert strikes one in, and Vancouver's got another goal.
Unbelievable. Minute 22. It's 14-12. It's suddenly a 2-point game after 5 consecutive breaks. This is wild. You know, at halftime, we were talking about how because it was 9-6 and then later it was 14-6, we were just talking about how Vancouver's got to get some momentum to prove in the next games and future battles. It's no longer about the next game. Now we are talking about this game in this field at Chief Sealth in Seattle right now.
That's right. Vancouver hoping to steal one on
Here's
the road
throw.
in front of the home crowd.
Oh, just snuck through it. You know, the Seattle defense was getting pretty frustrated. They were all over the place. You could tell they were hungry, chomping on the bit for a defense. And instead of playing Team D, everybody is just chasing after the disc, and that leaves these holes pretty wide open where Vancouver can just put it in for their 6th consecutive point, making it 14-12. They've pulled within 2. Minute 22 remaining. Still 2 breaks. Not an easy task at all.
That's right. And that, like you were saying, that was Seattle's O team scrambling on defense, and Vancouver's defensive offense has punched in these last handful of goals, and they're hoping to get another one. Again, Seattle just needs to hang on. They could keep this possession for the next minute and 22 and have won the game. Vancouver's got to pressure them. Again, each player only 7 seconds, so they need to move it quickly on offense. Seattle does. Vancouver looking to stifle that and get another conversion into traffic. There's Simon looking upfield. Has Rifkin. Seattle moving it easily now. Vancouver's kind of on their heels. They're going to need to really step up and get a stop here if they hope to finish this run within
already
time.
Down.
We're under a minute.
Already down to under a minute remaining. You know, the basketball has the shot clock. We have the stall count. There's only 7 seconds, so they do just need to waste the next 46 seconds left in the game to make sure that there's no chance for Vancouver score. But they have to move it every 7 seconds. There's a shot.
Simon
There's
to
a
Murray.
shot.
Murray
Huge bid.
There.
And he can't quite make it. Huge bid. He's all excited.
The clock's running. Vancouver needs to know that, and they need to punch one in right now. Jogging to the disc is looks like Pottinger, but they're going to need to strike really quickly. We've got 22 seconds left. Double team, great time for a double team from Seattle.
He's got to put the shot.
Pressure on. They've got to send somebody deep.
And there's a turnover.
That could be the
14
game.
seconds left. There's going to be no chance to score 2.
Simon might strike to Sefton. No, Sefton open. Simon
draws a
foul.
foul.
Call.
Draws a foul, gets 5 yards. 4 seconds left in the game. 3-2. And here's Moses with the disc. 0 seconds. Game is over. Game called, done. That's 0 seconds. That ends this game. 14-12. Seattle holds on to a lead that really should have been a lot bigger.
Well, they had a commanding lead throughout the game, right up until the 4th quarter when Vancouver turned on their Nighthawk jets and tried to sail out with a win. Seattle hangs on to take it by 2 in front of this hometown crowd. You got to know Seattle's happy they hung on, but got to have been biting their nails there as Vancouver were breathing down their necks.
You know, they're all happy about that game. Seattle happy, of course, because they won, and a win is a win. But Vancouver's got to be very excited at the end of this game, having pulled it from 14-6 into a 14-12 game. I mean, that is close. That's as nail-biting as you get.
Well, and next time Seattle goes up on those guys, if that happens, you know, Vancouver's going to know they're not out of it, and Seattle's going to know they're going to need to keep it going. Again, a game of runs, and Seattle commanding most of this game, but yeah, I agree. Vancouver getting some good momentum here going into their next matchup, and a very exciting finish to what was a very good game here to open up the MLU season here today. Seattle and Vancouver, a rivalry in the making here, finishing with Seattle taking the first game.
You know, boy, this was exciting. I came into this game, we all came into this game with some expectations of what's going to happen based on the culture of the cities, the ultimate culture of these cities that these teams are from. You know, Seattle Ultimate Culture, that club team, has kind of a MO. And Vancouver, the same thing, same with Dogfish down in San Francisco, and same with the Stags in Portland. But this is really going to be different. We saw a lot of deep strikes from Seattle. We saw some play calls at the end, but there were not play calls to start off for Vancouver's offense. You know, this really is just a new game out here in the MLU.
And here are the Rainmakers thanking their crowd. We're going to go down in a moment to Jenica Villamore, who's going to be chatting here with Sam Harkness, Seattle player, who was responsible for saving that disc. Let's go down to Jenica now, who's chatting with Sam Harkness as his team goes behind him.
The crowd is going crazy right now. The team is definitely celebrating. It is a big day for Seattle Ultimate. With me here is Sam Harkness First of all, congratulations on the big win.
Thank you. Yeah, it was huge. Super excited. I feel like we just mirrored our crowd's energy. That's what we needed, and it was awesome.
First game of the season for the MLU ever, and here on your home turf. How does it feel?
It feels great. I'm playing with the people I want to play with, coached by the coach I want to be coached by, playing the teams I want to play.
You know, we saw a lot of big plays tonight, a lot of good grabs, especially in the first quarter. And I have to say the play of the night has to be that greatest. What was going through your mind then? Could you walk us through that?
I mean, I got set up real nice by my teammates. Reed Koss, I just trust a ton. He'll throw to me anytime I cut for him. If I say his name, he'll throw. It's great. Yeah, I'm just surrounded by the guys that are going to get my back. It's awesome.
And you know, the last quarter, the Nighthawks definitely had a huge comeback. What do you think was key for your team to win this?
Keeping our heads up. I mean, we got scored on. I think our whole sideline kept their heads up, high-fived each other, lots of touches. We all love to touch. It's great.
And lastly, what are you taking away from this game going into the next game? What do you think you guys can improve on?
I think playing with refs is still like one of the new things for us, and learning how to handle the no calls and what to do about that. I think that's just talking to each other, figuring it out.
Great, thank you so much. Congratulations. Good luck for the rest of your season.
Thank you.
Definitely a great way to start off Seattle Ultimate for the MLU season. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you so much, Jenica. And that was Sam Harkness recapping that game. Seattle finishing strong here, 14-12 with a near comeback by the Nighthawks. And that's going to close things up here at Chief Sealth Stadium here in Seattle with a very exciting night of MLU Ultimate. For MLU, this is Jake Cooper and Dave Bestock signing off. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for some more exciting MLU Ultimate in the future.
Mail time, everyone. Vero, Kip, PCAP, Carl, ooh, another one for Vero, Carl again, Sophia, Exton, Ningo, and one for accounting.
You're losing your touch, Ben. Bye.